Hi, in this video I'm going to continue on going through the summative review for Unit 1 for Math 3. This is the part 2. We're starting with question number 11. Analyze the graph. Which function could model the graph? Select all that apply. The first thing we need to do is look at the a values. The a values are at the beginning of each of the forms. As you can see, this is a downward graph, which means that a value must be negative. Because the a value must be negative, automatically a is going to be out. So now we just have 3 left to work with. Well, letter B is in factored form, which gives us our x-intercepts. The first x-intercept is going to be 4, 0. The second x-intercept is going to be 3, 0. Letter C is in vertex form, which is going to give us that vertex, which is that HK. The vertex is going to be a -4 and a +2. And letter D is also going to be in factored form. So this is your x-intercept. And your x-intercept here is going to be -2, 0, and -3, 0. Remember, anytime you take a number out of a set of parentheses, the sign changes. So let's look at this information a little closer. First thing we're going to do is look at these numbers, 4, 0, and 3, 0. If I looked at this graph and I wanted to go to the right 4, to the right 3, that would put me way out of the zone for this graph. So B is not going to be our choice. Then we look at C, vertex form. If I want to look at vertex form, I look at the vertex -4, 2. If I was to plot that point, -4, 2, it is possible that that could be our choice. So C is possible. Now, letter D. We have the intercepts of -2, 0 and -3, 0. It is possible that this could be -2, 0 and this could be -3, 0 because we do not have a scale on the graph, but those are in the correct areas of the graph. So D is also a choice. So in this case, there are 2 possible answers for this graph. Okay, number 12. Once again, we're looking at the function that we're given to determine which graph best represents it. Once again, we're going to look at the first number here. This decides whether it's up or down. So because it's down, we know that A is going to be out, and we know that C is going to be out. So now that just leaves us with 2 left to choose from. This is vertex form. So vertex form, so the vertex in this problem is going to be 3, -2. Well, if I look for the vertex, if I go to the right 3 and down 2, there is my vertex. So B is your choice. And D, if I go 3, that's +2, so that one is not your choice. So for number 12, your answer is B. Number 13, we need to factor and solve each quadratic. Remember, when it comes to factoring, the first thing we always do is identify A, B, and C. A is 1, B is 2, and C is -3. Remember, whenever the A value is 1, we can go right into checking to see if this works. Bring down the 2 x's, bring down the first sign. Ask yourself, what do I need to multiply the positive by to get to be a negative? So that would be a negative. And now we're going to list those factors of 3. Factors of 3 are just 1 and 3. And because there's a plus sign in the in parentheses and a minus, we're going to subtract to find our result. If I subtract a 3 and a 1, can I get an answer of 2? The answer is yes. So because of that, we know it's going to be factorable. So we're going to put the bigger number first, smaller number second. And now, because it says solve, we just have to set each set of parentheses equal to 0 and solve for x. X plus 3 equals 0. X minus 1 equals 0. And we do this anytime it says solve. So we're going to subtract 3 from both sides. So x equals negative 3. That is one of your answers. And we're going to add 1 to both sides. That is your second answer. Okay, now let's look at 13b. Once again, we need to factor and solve. So we're going to identify A, B, and C. A is 2, B is 6, C is 4. Now, because A is not 1, we need to look at them, all three numbers, and see if there is a GCF. In this case, the GCF would be 2. So we're going to divide all of these terms by 2. 2x squared divided by 2 is 1x squared. 6x divided by 2 is 3x. And 4 divided by 2 is 2. Now that we have factored out the GCF, we have a new A, B, and C value. In this case, your A is 1, B is 3, C is 2. So we're going to do the same thing we did before. We're going to rewrite it using 2 sets of parentheses. We're going to separate our x's. We're going to bring down the first sign, which is a positive. We're going to ask ourselves, what do I need to multiply a positive by to get to be a positive 2? That would have to be another positive. So now we're going to list the factors of 2, which is very easy. It's just 1 and 2. And because both numbers in both of the parentheses have plus signs, we're going to add these together to see if it works. Does 1 plus 2 equal the B value of 3? In this case, it does. So we're going to use those numbers, the 2 in the first spot, the 1 in the second. But remember, we're not finished because we factored it, but now we actually have to solve. So we take each portion that has an x and we set it equal to 0. X plus 2 equals 0. X plus 1 equals 0. We do not have to worry about that GCF of 2. So we're going to subtract 2 from both sides. X equals negative 2. And we're going to subtract 1 from both sides. X equals negative 1. Okay. So, number 14. So for number 14, we are evaluating functions. So we have been given 3 equations to work with. K of x, which is equal to 6x. M of x, which is equal to 12 plus 2x squared. And P of x, which is equal to 5x plus 2. Now we're going to find the value at a certain point. Well, letter A says P of negative 4. Well, that's easy because P, so we're going to use the P equation. So we're going to take wherever I see an x and I'm going to replace it with the negative 4. So P of negative 4 is equal to 5 times negative 4 plus 2. And now we're going to simplify that. P of negative 4, 5 times negative 4 is negative 20, plus 2. One more time. P of negative 4 is equal to negative 18. And that is your answer. That's how you evaluate at a given function. This time we're looking at m of x because it says m of negative 3, which means we're going to use the m equation. Wherever I see an x in the equation, I'm going to replace it with the number negative 3. So I have m of negative 3 is equal to 12 plus 2 times negative 3 squared. So now I'm just going to clean this up. M of negative 3 is equal to 12 plus 2, negative 3 squared is 9. M of negative 3 is equal to 12. I'm going to multiply 2 times 9, which is 18. And then last but not least, m of negative 3 is equal to 30. And that would be your final answer. Now we're going to do a k equation because it says k of 3. So now we're going to use the k equation. So we're going to do, wherever I see the x, I'm going to replace it with the number 3. K of 3 is equal to 6 times 3. So we're just going to simplify that. K of 3 is equal to 18. Nice and simple and done. Okay, now we're going back to the m equation. So we need to make sure we use the right equation for the right problem. In this case, it says m of 4. So we're going to, wherever I see an x, I'm going to replace it with a 4. M of x, m of 4 is equal to 12 plus 2 times 4 squared. I'm going to simplify this. M of 4 is equal to 12 plus 2 times 16. Remember, we're not solving for m, we're just evaluating at a certain expression. So when m is 4, we have 12 plus 32. So when m is 4, your answer would be 44. Now we're going to do k of negative 4. So once again, we're going to use the k function because it says k of negative 4. So that being said, wherever I see an x, I'm going to replace it with a negative 4. So k of negative 4 is equal to 6 times negative 4. K of negative 4 is equal to negative 24, and that is your answer. Last but not least is p of 6. So we're going to use the p equation. Wherever I see an x, I'm going to replace it with the number 6. P of 6 is equal to 5 times 6 plus 2. So P of 6 is equal to 30 plus 2. P of 6 is equal to 32. Okay. Problem number 15. Problem number 15 says we're going to write a quadratic function of a parabola whose maximum, which is the vertex, is 2, negative 4 and goes through the point 1, negative 1. So we have 2 points that we're working with, 2, negative 4 and 1, negative 1. Because it says the word maximum, we know we're using the vertex. So we're going to identify that vertex as h and k. And we're going to identify the other ordered pair as x and y. We're going to use vertex form. Y is equal to a times x minus h squared plus k. So I have negative 1 is equal to a times 1 minus 2 squared plus negative 4, or simply minus 4. So I have negative 1 equals, I'm going to clean this part up. 1 minus 2 is negative 1, and negative 1 squared is 1a, and then plus minus is really just a minus 4. Now I'm going to add 4 to both sides. So I get 3 is equal to 1a. Divide by 1, a is 3. Remember, you're not finished because you're going to use the a value and the hk to write the final function. Y equals a value, which is now we know is 3, times x minus 2 squared minus 4. This is your final answer. And the last problem for today is we're going to remember that we must annotate. So a rocket is launched from a height of 2 meters, and reaches a maximum height of 50 meters at a horizontal distance of 20 meters. So I have provided the graph for you. Remember that this is x and this one is y. We need to identify the two ordered pairs that we have been given. Well, if it's a height of 2, that would be my y value. And if it's at the starting point, it's going to be 0, 2. Next thing we have is a maximum height. That height would be the y value, which is 50. And a horizontal distance means how far away from it we are, which would be 20. Be very careful that you have the 20 and the 50 in the correct spot. Remember, so 0, 2, this is my x, this is my y. This is 20 is my h, 50 would be my k. Now I'm going to substitute what I know in to find the value of a. So 2 is equal to a times 0 minus 20 squared plus 50. I'm going to start solving for a, and I start that off by simplifying this first piece. 0 minus 20 is negative 20. Negative 20 squared is 400. So I have 400 a plus 50 is equal to 2. Now I'm going to simply solve for a. I'm going to subtract 50 from both sides. Subtract 50 from both sides. I get negative 48 is equal to 400a. I'm going to divide by 400. I'm going to divide by 400. When I reduce negative 48 over 400, I get a is equal to negative 3 over 25. So my a value is negative 3 over 25. Remember, we're not done. We need to use the a value and the hk to write our equation. So our final equation would be y is equal to negative 3 over 25 times x minus 20, there's your h, squared plus 50, which is your k. And that would be your final answer. Good luck on your summative.